What's up guys, StarCGO here, new OCG playlist, Banlist just dropped, TCG one hopefully soon, question mark. Man, I'm really envious of the OCG, just, knowing when your Banlist will arrive, having a nice head start, and even some kind of reasoning for most of it. But yeah, I just got the Banlist, so let's look if it's any good, if it's, pointed to any directions for the TCG. I also have Edo Pro open on my other screen, so I can look up any of the hits in the OCG and start making this Banlist. So, Mystic Mine was already limited in OCG, but they now decided to ban this. I think this is a very terrible decision. Mystic Mine ensures decks need to run some kind of spell trap removal, they need to respect floodgates, but that's more so bad card design in general, where monsters just have too much effects nowadays. I think in a healthy game of Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of decks, every deck, is forced to run spell trap removal. So Mystic Mine being banned, I think, is a bad thing. True Gang of Alchemy, I'm not sure how good of a thing it is also. Then again, the TCG is fine without it, so the OCG will probably be fine without it as well. A lot of people see it as a toxic card, but the way I see things, it kind of encourages you to not play combo decks, which I think is inherently a good thing. Combo decks are inherently a bad thing for the game. And combo as a playing style just shouldn't exist. So, furthermore, we have Gamma 2-1. I guess they really want Handtraps to... Geez, my voice cracking and stuff. I guess they just really want Handtraps to actually work. Because Sci-Frame Gear, Gamma is mostly used to negate other Handtraps. I guess they want Handtraps to flourish, they want Max C to actually go off, things like that. I guess against that you can't really Gamma the Max C usually, but yeah. Generally this is Konami saying, we want our Handtraps to actually be used, we want our Handtraps to not as easily be negated, so Sci-Frame Gear Gamma goes to 1. Now, I won't be surprised if some OCG players still run it at 1. OCG players are weird at times, ratio-wise at least. But yeah, Gamma is now at 1, so I expect a lot of people in OCG to drop this engine. Meanwhile, it's still at 3 in the TCG, kind of weird, but that's how things are. Also, Zeus to 1. I'm surprised to see it this soon. I honestly never expected Zeus to get hit in the first place. It's a strong card, but it's not that unfair compared to other things in the game, so seeing it limited kind of surprised me. Guess it kind of makes sense though. Some people might think Zeus to 1 doesn't make sense, but it does. There are a lot of decks that just run 2. Now they actually have to make sure the first one goes through, and if you're able to counter the first Zeus, well, you got rid of Zeus. Now, onto the semi-limits. Soul Eating Oviraptor was at 1, it's going back to 2, Dinosaur aren't doing much. Hey, makes sense, right? Darkness Metal Dragon. Oh, it was still at 1 in the OCG too, I see. Usually they're very fast with removing cards from the ban list. Yeah, it's hard once per turn now, so it could just directly go to 3. I think this is one of those cards you should just directly unlimit. Pot of Desires to 2 is interesting. I think they heard a lot about TCG players talking shit about OCG players plus running it at 2. So now they're giving OCG players a reason to run it at 2. Anyways, that's just a joke. The real reason for Pot of Desires to 2, I think, is that it's at 3, it's a disgusting card in deck that can run it. Something like Swordswall can run it without issues at 3. And yeah, just plus 2. It's literally Pot of Greed to certain strategies. So I guess this isn't too much of a surprise either. It's one of those cards that's really disgustingly strong. I guess this was bound to happen at some point, although it's not something a lot of people call for. It is a generic strong power card that a lot of decks can opt to run. Next limit. The card that is supposedly leaked. Yeah, right, like they're importing this in the Mecha tin. If you want to believe that shit, sure. But yeah, this one is going to 2 as well. One of those cases where it makes a lot of sense, and cross out especially at 2 really sucks. Because you need to specifically run targets to run the cross out. And now this going to 2, the ratio of bricks to cross out is really huge. I think this, just like Gamma, is a huge sign from Konami. We want Handtraps to actually do their job. But it's something I used to be against, but I kind of see where they're coming from. Combo players don't have rights, so yeah, makes sense. Semi-limiting this card is a bigger deal than some people might make it out to be. It's less of an auto-inclusion in a lot of decks now. Danger Nessie is 2-3. What was it at? It's a 2 there. Okay. I would love the Dangers to return to 3 in the TCG, although that would probably be a terrible idea. I love the Dangers, so don't mind this one. Salamangreat Great Circle to 3 also kind of makes sense if you look at the OCG. Salamangreat Great isn't doing anything there. Mind Control to 3. I think this is actually a good change. There's a lot of competitive players that don't like it, but it just makes going second way easier. Yes, the card is disgusting in Master Rule 4, Master Rule 5 and make monsters exist. But is that really a problem? I don't think so. And finally, Pendulum Call. Unlike the TCG, OCG actually cares for Pendulum players. Yeah, that might come as a surprise to some. There exists a format where Konami actually gives stuff back to Pendulum players. Can't see that happening in the TCG. But yeah, in general, this is quite a Banlist. Pendulum Call by way of 2. Yeah, I'd say this is a good Banlist. It doesn't address any of the quote-unquote huge problems, mainly the Brave engine, which ended up being a bit better than honestly everyone expected. Because, well, initially it looked very weak, then they got like a level 3 Searcher and turned out to be a good engine. And of course all the Destroy Phoenix guy, the World Destiny Hero package being a strong thing. But it would be a weird decision from a business standpoint to hit such an engine like the Destiny Hero engine. When it barely saw any play. When they still need to sell that set. So I think a hit to Destiny Hero engine will happen at some point. Not sure what they will do. But yeah, it would just be in poor taste to do it now. Because a lot of people recently got their Destiny Hero engines, you know. They still paid money for those cards. Immediately hitting it would be very customer unfriendly. Yeah, so I mean, if you look at this, there's the single hit where I say, yeah, this is objectively bad. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but if the designers don't necessarily disagree. I think it's a really disgusting card in decks that can run it. There's not that many decks that want to run it, but still. Similar arguments could be made for Pot of Extravagance. I'm not sure why that isn't semi-limited as well then. I guess this is somewhat of a slap on the wrist of Sword Soul. Now, I'm sure, and that was after this video where I explain stuff. I don't speak Japanese. They'll probably explain why. Because unlike the TCG, they actually explain their stuff. But yeah, interesting ban list. Wouldn't mind seeing a similar thing here. Since a lot of people said this, I don't actively play the card game that much anymore because, well, until Sword Soul gets released, it just doesn't catch my interest. But yeah, a ban list that just addresses certain problem cards would be interesting. Though Mystic Mind do bans, I don't like that. I think if anything should like vanish up to the should return to 3. We should introduce more floodgates, not remove them from the game. Because decks can just ignorantly run their main engine and whatever Handtraps, and they don't even have to respect anything like floodgates or any kind of background. Sorry for the noise. Shit. Okay, I dropped something. Yeah, I'll just end the video here so I can like pick that stuff up and stuff. But yeah, I generally speaking think this was a good ban list. Good job, OCG. Let's hope TCG follows suit by releasing its ban list soon and doing a good list as well. So yeah, my compliments to OCG, good ban list. Then again, the OCG is very great in general.